So often a buyer gets the closing disclosure and says, well, wow, I got to pay all of this extra money. Well, what you're doing is paying a prorated portion of the taxes that the seller has paid.
Hey folks, Cameron Stewart here with eXp Realty here in Rome, New York, serving you right here in the Mohawk Valley. I'm joined again today by Colin LaReaux at Gold Bass and LaReaux, attorneys at law in downtown Utica. How are you doing today, Colin?
We're very well, Cameron. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So folks, once again, briefly, we're bringing this series to you guys to help educate as much as we possibly can about the real estate process, okay? Today we're talking more in depth about closing, okay, and from an attorney's aspect in real estate. But please stay tuned to future videos that we're going to have with Colin talking about closing and the attorney aspect of real estate. But also we are sitting down with insurance agents, lenders, okay? We're also sitting down with property inspectors. So we're going to try and get you as much information as we possibly can to better inform all of us here in the Mohawk Valley about how to effectively and efficiently buy or sell a home. So diving right into it, today we're talking about taxes, okay? Taxes come up a lot, just here in New York in general, here in New York State, but especially when it comes to property taxes. We have pretty high property taxes here in this state. You're going to see them when you close on your home. You're going to pay for them, okay? And they're a little tricky, just like everything in real estate, okay? So Colin, tell us a little bit more about taxes and what we need to know if we're buying or selling a house in the next couple months here.
Certainly. So in New York State, right, there are property taxes. You have to pay to own your home. You know, some people joke that you don't own your home, somebody else does, and that's why you got to pay them their fee, right, the tax fee. But it's expected, it's known, everybody understands you have to pay property taxes. So Cameron, I'm sure you show someone a brand new amazing house and they say, how much are taxes? Well, that's generally on the listing sheet. It might say $5,000 a year. So they can expect, all right, I'm going to pay $5,000 every year in taxes. When you get all the way to a closing date, right, so the attorneys and the bank's attorneys, seller attorney, buyer's attorney, bank's attorney, they look at that closing date, and then they'll say, all right, if we're closing on right in the middle of the year, June 1st, and the seller who has owned the house up until that date has paid all of the property taxes for that calendar year, well, you're going to be owning that house for the second half of it. It's not fair to the seller that he paid in advance for your taxes. So at closing, you'll give him a credit, or her, the seller, a credit for the taxes they've already paid. So often a buyer gets the closing disclosure and says, well, wow, I got to pay all of this extra money. Well, what you're doing is paying a prorated portion of the taxes that the seller has paid. So in Utica, for example, city taxes, county taxes, school taxes, right? Those are the big three. They have different tax years, January 1 to December 31 or April 1. So depending on where that falls, and part of your attorney's job, seller's attorney and buyer's attorney, is to adjust the taxes to make sure that the person who owns that property is paying the taxes, right? Not the seller paying for a portion of the buyer's time or the buyer paying for the whole year when the seller got to own that property.
Got it. So let's say you're closing on a house and the seller, you're buying a house, I should say. You're going through the closing process and the seller has not prepaid any taxes. Will you see maybe less of a tax bill up front when you close on that house?
So that's another great reason you're going to need an attorney, right? So if you get closer to closing and there's outstanding taxes due, well, you're not going to want to pay those. That's not fair to you as a buyer that you have to pay taxes that the seller was supposed to pay. So what you can do is request a credit at closing. So if you're going to buy it for, let's say, $100,000 and the seller still owes $9,000, well, you know what? You'll give the seller 91 and you'll give whoever the tax party is, whether it's the county, the city, the school, that 9,000. So you shouldn't be paying extra for something the seller did wrong, but you certainly don't want to be on the hook for the purchase price and the seller just not paying his own taxes or her own taxes.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we can have up to 4 layers of taxes and property taxes here in New York State. I believe it's county, town, okay? You can also have village if you live in a village, and school as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, so county, village, so it's the municipality, right? There's villages, there's towns, there's cities. You know, and you got your school tax, you got your garbage fee, your garbage tax in Utica. It's not that much. It's about $87 a year or something. But yeah, there's different layers. And if you have a lender, often because it can get confusing with the different dates they're due and how often they're due, they'll ask you to roll them into escrow. So you're paying one monthly fee to your bank, to your financer, for everything, your mortgage, your principal, your interest, and your taxes. So you don't have to worry about it. This protects the lender because then the homeowner, the new homeowner, isn't failing to pay the taxes, and then the government comes in and takes the house, because then the lender's losing out as well. Right?
The lender's in the second position, right? It's taxes first, right? Then the lender, i.e. mortgage, correct?
Correct. So if you fail to pay your taxes, you'll get notices, right? You'll get lis pendens. They'll say you haven't paid. Here's a list of the people that haven't. If you don't pay, we are going to foreclose on this property, take it back, and we'll sell it at a tax sale to get our overdue taxes. Now, that's a good way for a buyer or investor to get a cheap property, but there's big outstanding taxes. After the government takes their money back, then yeah, the mortgage or the lender would recoup what costs they could out of what they lent.
Got it. Got it. All intricate things, and guys and girls. Another reason why you should get a reputable, great attorney, local as well, right here in the Mohawk Valley, and Colin is one. So guys, thanks for joining us today. Once again, my name is Cameron Stewart with eXp Realty right here in Rome, New York. You can reach me right on my cell at 315-351-2765. I'll be happy to set you up for an automatic property search if you're looking to buy a house. I'll be happy to set you up for a free comparative market analysis if you're looking to sell your house. And if you need a great attorney, Colin, how do they reach out to you?
Sure. So our phone number, 315-724-2248. Colin, C-O-L-I-N, at Goldbass Law, Goldbas law.com. Our website, goldbasslaw.com. We're on Google. You could find us. We're on Facebook. So yeah, we're not too hard to find. And I know Cameron's not either, because he's hustling and he's doing a great job here. So
Awesome.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, my pleasure. We're going to be doing some more videos, obviously, Colin. So folks at home, stay tuned if you want some more information on the many intricacies of closing on a home here in the Mohawk Valley specifically. Colin, thanks once again. And folks, stay tuned. We will speak to you guys soon.